The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Vinyl Talk with Tavis. And I'm Tavis. Happy New Year's to everybody. Today is January the 3rd, 2021. We made it through 2020. Probably one of the most torrential years ever. It was the most horrendous, craziest year ever. So, on that note, I think it's time for a Coors Light. Wouldn't you not agree? So I'm going to open this bad boy up. And if you have a drink close by, let's make a cheers. I'm going to give you some time, get some water, coffee, tea. I don't know what you're drinking, but I'll wait. Because, hey, we deserve a break today for the rest of the year. And if you happen to have made some resolutions for the year 2020, don't make a resolution for this year. Let's just let it float on by and hopefully things will be fantastic. Cheers to you. Click. Here we go. Ooh. Coors Light. Here comes the belch. Well, I hope all of you are doing great. I am hanging in there. I'm keeping the faith and doing the best I can. Tomorrow, which is January the 4th, I start back with teaching, and I hope none of my students are watching because, well, anyway, trick that. I'm here to show you some of my latest vinyl finds within the past week. And first, I want to tell everyone who has given me messages regarding my last video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. My family appreciates it, and we all appreciate you. And it's amazing how you find out the people who really care about you as they reach out to you and tell you how much they care for you and how they wish you the best. So thank you so much. But let's get on with this video with vinyl, because I am so excited about this particular release that came out in 2020. This is the R&B icon Toni Braxton. Spell my name. I will. Toni Braxton. Toni, you have come back strong. It's not that you never left. It's not that you never were strong. But it seems to me that this wonderful woman's voice has not changed since her first release. In fact, I went on Discogs to find her first album to see if I can find it on vinyl. There's some Japan mint condition, I think it's like $700, $750. I'm like, well, that's probably, that's going to be my stimulus check. But I digress. I will not be buying that for that much money. But one day I do hope to get her first album. Came out in the 90s. 7 whole days. And not a word from you. 7 whole nights. And I'm just about through. I can't take it, won't take it, can't take it no more. I had about enough of you. I'd rather be on my own. on my own. That album, every song is a jam. However, this release, which has songs like Dance, it also features Missy Elliott. It also features her, which on the song Gotta Move On. This record is killer. Everyone, if you don't have this album, I truly, highly recommend it. I just began to listen to it this morning, and it's just absolutely wonderful and marvelous to listen to. There it is right here. Looks like that. And it also comes with a nice photo of Toni. On the inside, it could be a poster. And there she is, the fantastic Toni Braxton. Every song on here is stellar. Her voice has not changed. I mean, it sounds just like the first Toni we heard in the 90s. I mean, Toni, you're killing it. Hold on. Alexa, how old is Toni Braxton?
Toni Braxton is 53 years old. She was born on October 7th, 1967.
Well, don't let the age fool you, because she still sounds like she's in her 20s. So it's awesome. The record is awesome. I highly recommend it. I bought it on Amazon about a couple of weeks ago. Came in, and I'm very excited. I love it so much. So Toni Braxton, Spell My Name. Awesome, awesome record. Okay, now I went back to, I've been on this kick of the late 80s, the 90s, which are the years that I love. I mean, I love the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. Probably the 70s and the 80s the most. But are you familiar with Babyface, who helped Toni Braxton on her first record and beyond? Okay. He was also in a group called The Deal. Do you remember The Deal? And this is Babyface right here. Look at that Jerry curl. Oh my God. Now, this album is called Material Things, not Material Things. We're talking about Material Things. And this album came out in the year of 1985. The Deal. I remember loving this group so much. My uncle had the cassette and we would jam to it. This album has Let's Work Tonight, Stimulate, my heavens, You're All I've Ever Known, Suspicious. I don't have my bifocals. Actually, I broke them and I ordered some, so they should be arriving this week. So I'm like suffering. I'm like, anyway, Suspicious, Material Things, okay, and I'll Send You Roses. Oh my God, that was the jam. That is the jam. Highly recommended album. If you don't have this, I mean, if you love good 80s funk, R&B, the soul music that came from the 80s, you just can't go wrong with The Deal. And let's just look at the album. Let's look on the inside. It's on Elektra Records. And here's the album itself. Look at that baby shine. Actually, I have not even played this, but I do remember the music. So, The Deal, just phenomenal, phenomenal. Now, I think on the last video, me and my niece, and even the one before, we showed Midnight Star. The Midas Touch, headlines. Now, this is the one that's called Planetary Invasion. And I was on YouTube last night just looking at their videos from their time, during this time. And I tell you, it's just phenomenal to reach back and listen to the songs. No parking, baby. No parking on the dance floor. No parking, baby. just brought back so many memories. I hadn't seen that video in years. So this album has the song Body Snatchers, Scientific Love. This is such electric funk. It sounds like the 80s, and it's just pure beauty to me. This is the music that inspired me in my teenage years. And this is when groups, of course, were humongous. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 members. They were killing it. Midnight Star, what a group. And here's the album itself. Again, on Solar Records there, as you can tell. And this album came out in what year? Let's see what year it came out in. 1984. So this is really a killer record. You know, I've been posting some of this music on my Instagram page, and people have been giving me lots of thumbs up. And I think there's my good friend Alex from Alex Spin Vinyl. I believe that's his YouTube name. He mentioned in my other video, or he mentioned a record that I showed from Midnight Star, which features the Midas Touch. That album is called Headlines. But he said there's not a bad song on that record. He loves that album. Do you like this, Alex, if you're watching? Planetary Invasion, Midnight Star, just a killer R&B group. Now, I think I'm going to take a little drink on that. This next group I have a little story with it. I have an auntie. Her name is Rita Minner. And she might be watching because I just found out she's been watching my videos. She, when I was younger, I would go to her apartment and she would have these records. And I would just beg her to play certain albums like the Jones Girls, Aretha Franklin. She just had a stellar album collection. And I think she's coming back to vinyl. She's a retired teacher and she's a phenomenal family member. I love her so much. And now this group is called the Gap Band. This is Gap Band 5, if I'm reading my Roman numerals correctly. This album is called Jammin'. Now, this man here is Charlie Wilson. And most of my relatives on my dad's side, his brothers and sisters, including my dad, they attended Langston University. And my aunt, Carolyn Minner, may she rest in peace, she became acquainted with Charlie Wilson at Langston by way of another friend. And he was attending Langston University, but he was also in the genesis of the group, the Gap Band. So my aunt told me that he quit Langston, or he stopped going to Langston because he was blowing up with this band. And they were so excited because he would perform at Langston in the early years. However, in recent years, they have been asking Charlie Wilson to come back to Langston for like homecoming events and things like that, to perform, just to give back to the community that he started from, because he performed at Langston, which is Langston, Oklahoma. He performed in Tulsa, which is where I think he originated from, in Oklahoma City, and blah, blah, blah. I think he originated in Tulsa. I didn't do my research. Hold on. Alexa, where was Charlie Wilson born?
The American R&B singer Charlie Wilson was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes. So he performed in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, blah, blah, blah. And they had asked him to come back and perform for the Langston University homecomings. And my aunt told me that he has declined for reasons unbeknownst to anyone. Come on, Charles. Go back to your people and perform. Man, you're not getting no younger. We all aren't. So come on, man. Folks want to celebrate you. You know, they want to reach out and touch you. They want to hear you. But anyway, this record includes the song Party Train. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I mean, just this album, I just listened to it today in its entirety. Beautiful music. It features Stevie Wonder on the last cut, which is called Someday. Man, where are we going? Shake a Leg. I mean, every song on here is great. Came out in 1980. Lord have mercy. 1983. Let's look at the record itself. Look at that. Man, much respect to Charlie Wilson. Much respect to these wonderful guys. Hold on. Alexa, tell me about the Gap Band.
Here's the Wikipedia article on the Gap Band. The Gap Band was an American R&B and funk band that rose to fame during the 1970s and 1980s.
Yep.
The band consisted of three brothers, Charlie, Ronnie, and Robert Wilson, and it was named after streets in the historic Greenwood neighborhood in the brothers' hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
After 43 years together, they retired in 2010. Would you like me to continue?
Yes.
Section 2, History, Early Years. The band received its first big break by being the backup band for fellow Oklahoman Leon Russell's Stop All That Jazz album released in 1974. Would you like me to keep reading?
Yes.
Early on, the group took on a funk sound reminiscent of the early 1970s. This style failed to catch on, and their first two LPs, 1974's Magician's Holiday, which was recorded at Leon Russell's historic The Church Studio, and 1977's The Gap Band, failed to chart or produce any charting singles. Afterwards, they were introduced to LA producer Lonnie Simmons, who signed them to his production company Total Experience Productions, and managed to secure a record deal with Mercury Records. Would you like me to continue?
Yes.
They got their name from Tulsa Street's Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. Would you like me to continue?
Yes.
Subsection: History, Success. On their first album with Simmons, The Gap Band, they found chart success with songs such as I'm in Love and Shake. The latter became a top 10 R&B hit in 1979. Would you like me to keep reading?
Yes.
Later that year, the group released I Don't Believe You Want to Get Up and Dance on their album The Gap Band 2. Although it did not hit the Hot 100, it soared to number 4 R&B, and the album went gold. The song, and the band's musical output as a whole, became more P-Funk-esque, with expanded use of the synthesizers and spoken monologues within songs.
Yep.
The song Steppin' also reached the top 10 R&B. Would you like me to continue?
Yes.
Charlie Wilson provided background vocals on Stevie Wonder's 1980 hit I Ain't Gonna Stand For It from Wonder's album Hotter Than July. Would you like me to continue?
Yes.
The band reached a whole new level of fame in 1980 with the release of the number 1 R&B and number 16 Billboard 200 hit, The Gap Band 3. That album had soul ballads such as the number 5 R&B song Yearning For Your Love, and funk songs such as the R&B chart topper Burn Rubber on Me and Humpin'.
Yep.
They repeated this formula on the number 1 R&B album Gap Band 4 in 1982, which resulted in 3 hit singles, Early in the Morning, You Dropped a Bomb on Me,
Yep.
and Outstanding.
Yeah.
It was during this time that former Brides of Funkenstein singer Dawn Silva joined them on tour. Would you like me to keep reading?
No. But anyway, it was good to hear that history, was it? This is Gap Band 5, And I used to love to watch the video Party Train on BET, Black Entertainment Television, back in the 80s. And it was just so fun to hear that music and to hear those great bass lines and the synths. So, Charlie Wilson, you need to respect Langston and go back and perform for those people. They want to hear you. I don't know if the money's right for you, but hey, it's all about giving back, man. But I love you. Let's do a little gospel. I love gospel music. I don't know if I showed this yet, but Sandra Crouch is my favorite gospel singer and songwriter, and this is his sister, Sandra Crouch. This was her first release called We Sing Praises. I think I did show this, but I can show it again. This came out in 1983. It has the hit, He's Worthy, God's Worthy, Almighty Creator, Alpha, Omega, beginning and the end. Holy, holy, Lord God Almighty, which was and is to come. Awesome record. It feels like you are right there in a church meeting. And they have the Holy Ghost and they start shouting. And I tell you, it's just awesome. And Sandra Crouch sings with his sister on here. Phenomenal record. I believe she won a Grammy for this. I think I've shown this before. The more I talk about it, so I'll move on. Now we have probably one of the most greatest entertainers of all time. One of the most. There are so many great people. This is Sammy Davis Jr. What kind of fool am I? A tap dancing, singing machine. And one of the highlights of this record, I think that came out in 71. Hold on. Alexa, when did Sammy Davis Jr. release What Kind of Fool Am I?
What Kind of Fool Am I? By Anthony Newley was released on January 1st, 1961.
Alexa, did Sammy Davis Jr. sing What Kind of Fool Am I?
This might answer your question. What Kind of Fool Am I? Is by Anthony Newley.
Anyway, Sammy Davis Jr. covered it as well. And the standout on this album, to me, is the song on the first side, is the last song called Begin the Begin. When they begin the begin, it's just Sammy Davis Jr. singing a cappella. Well, I don't want to say that because there is an instrument. It's just the drums and Sammy. And it's just beautiful. I was blown away by the fact that Sammy, he stayed in tune, he stayed in key, and sang that melodious song, Begin the Begin, with the drums. And it's phenomenal. But he does Once in a Lifetime, A Lot of Loving to Do, Gonna Build a Mountain, Too Close for Comfort, My Romance, Thou Swell, Lost in the Stars. Just classic standards done by the one and only Sammy Davis Jr. What Kind of Fool Am I? Look at that epic photo. Epic photo. Let's look at the record. I like to show the records, you know. Look at that. It's in great condition. And I'm so excited to own a Sammy Davis Jr. album. Now I'm going to move on. Do you all remember? Well, of course you do. You've got to know Boy George and Culture Club. And this is their debut release. Now, I had their other album. I acquired that last month called Color by Numbers. And I thought that this, Kissing to Be Clever, came after. But this was their debut. And Color by Numbers came later. This was released in 1982. And it features the songs... Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Yes. And also features I'll Tumble For Ya, I'll Tumble For Ya. And also it features Time. Time won't give me time. And time makes the lovers feel that they've got something real. You and me, we know we got nothing but time. I hope YouTube doesn't flag me on singing these songs. I mean, this is just classic 80s culture club. It just brings back so many memories. It's so nostalgic, and it's on this wonderful Epic Records label, and it's in prime condition, and I'm so glad to own it. We have Culture Club. Yes, we do. And now we have a man that I had never heard of until the store that I bought this from. The owner said that he had this as if I would know who he was, and I don't, and I didn't. But this is Pat Roll. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. But this is his first album. It's called Introducing Pat Roll, and I must say, I'm really impressed with his voice. And one thing I love about records and searching for albums and crate digging, if you will, you'll come upon people that you've never heard of in your life, and you just buy it on a whim. You don't try to find it on Spotify. You just take it home and listen to it. And man, his voice reminds me of a mixture of Nat King Cole and Johnny Mathis. Imagine those two voices melded together. This is my opinion, okay? That's what it sounds like. Nat King Cole and Johnny Mathis mixed together, and you have Pat Roll. This album features classic standards, On a Clear Day, Everybody's Got a Home But Me. I mean, that song kind of brought tears to my eyes. The lyrics are very sad, but anyway. More. I Left My Heart in San Francisco. People Will Say We're in Love, But Beautiful. Have you all heard of Pat Roll? I never heard of this guy, but I'm glad to have been introduced to him with this album, which introduces him, Pat Roll. I'm really proud. Let's look at the album. It is in excellent condition. Sounds wonderful on the turntable. Beautiful record, beautiful voice, beautiful talent, Pat Roll. I don't know if he's alive still, but I need to do some more research, so I'll do that. Let's go back to some more gospel. This is something I found at a store called Savers. Are you all familiar with a store that just has a lot of where people donate clothes and equipment and furniture and things like that? There's also a music section and a book section. But this is a killer record. This is Juanita Johnson and the Gospel Tones. The record costs $2.99, and it's called Climbing High Mountains. This is the type of music that my mama and my daddy loves. My mama had a fit when I started playing You Don't Know Like I Know. This is like top of the line traditional gospel music. The music that I would sing with my parents and family when I was a boy. Although this was like released in the 70s, early 70s, the music still was relatable in the 80s and the early 90s, because it's like gospel never really goes out of style. Traditional gospel still has a special place in many, many people's hearts, especially mine. So when I hear this, it just takes me back to those good old days when I was a boy in the church. And it has songs like I Know a Man, I Feel Good, 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 I Feel Good, Good, Good. It just, every song is motivational, it's uplifting, it's inspiring. I highly recommend this if you have not heard Juanita Johnson and the Gospel Tones. If you would like to get introduced to some gospel music, some traditional gospel music, I highly recommend this album. And I was surprised that it was there's no inner sleeve, but it's in very good condition. And I need to find some sleeves. And but until then, it works just fine. Now, I think that's all I have, but I want to do a quick review. On my previous video, I showed The Weeknd. And me and my niece, we opened it up like it was a Christmas gift, but I didn't listen to it until I got back here in the city, in Kansas City, Missouri. And everybody, I am completely impressed with The Weeknd. I was really not into this guy or his music because it didn't spark my interest. But I'm a lover of TikTok. Okay, and you see all these people dancing and acting crazy on TikTok. And there was this song that I kept hearing as a trend on TikTok. And it's called Blinding Lights. And I thought, as I mentioned in my previous video, I thought that it was an 80s song that I did not remember. Dun, 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 dun. It has that 80s feel with those synths. And then I did some more research and found that it came from this guy, The Weeknd. And then I had to figure out what the song was called. It's called Blinding Lights. And when I saw the record and saw this artwork and realized that it's on the second album, side 1, Blinding Lights, I'm like, I've got to get this record. And I posted this on Instagram, and many people were saying, which song do you like the most? Every song is awesome. So I will be buying his earlier works. So I'm now a fan of The Weeknd. And speaking of The Weeknd, this weekend is ending because this is Sunday, January the 3rd. And everyone, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate my subscribers. I appreciate the vinyl community. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to sharing with you some more vinyl that I'm going to be getting in the future. I don't know when that's going to be because, honey, I've spent out. I have spent out. I'm waiting for the next paycheck. I'll tell you. So, until then, as always, with music. With music and R&B icons releasing great music like Toni Braxton in 2020. Be inspired and stay inspired.